What's going on in the Atlanta real estate market? What's going on with home values? Where are the best schools? Cleve has all the answers for you. Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. Now, here's Cleve Gaddis.
You're listening to the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. If you need to reach us, Gaddis Partners Remax Center, you can call 770-497-0000, or you can go to gogaddis.com. That's GOGADDIS.com. One more time, GOGADDIS.com. We have Miss Terri Murphy on the line with us. She was a top producing agent in the Chicago area for over 24 years. And get this, Alfie, was selling over 100 homes a year, even when interest rates soared to almost 28%. I cannot imagine selling anybody anything at 28%. And she's the published author of 5 books, including her most recent book with Donald Trump, entitled The Best Real Estate Advice I Ever Received. She co-authored that with Donald Trump. So without further ado, Terri Murphy, are you on with us?
I certainly am, and thank you for that incredible introduction. You know, now everybody on the whole world knows I'm a neurotic firstborn overachiever. Thank you for that.
And now, Terri, I have had the privilege of meeting you in person a couple of times, and I will tell you, yes, you are a neurotic overachiever. I did not know you were a firstborn, but I knew you were a neurotic overachiever, and I love it. Hey, we were together several weeks ago, and you mentioned 2 topics that fascinated me. You mentioned, number one, a person's forever home. And I looked at you honestly and said, Terri, what on earth are you talking about? Can we just dive right into that? Talk to people about what a forever home is and why that's important in today's world.
Well, thank you for asking that. You know, the biggest issue we have is that homeownership is the American dream. I mean, that's it. And when I got into real estate, the whole idea was to keep a house forever because we were so happy to be able to buy one. Well, here's what happened is, you know, we had the great drop in real estate, and people bought their property.
Terri, we did. Real estate values went down.
They went down.
Oh, my Lord.
People couldn't buy. I mean, you know, I told you.
People couldn't sell.
They were gigantic. I mean, all of that stuff is so important. But bottom line is, what's really important for us is that we need, as real estate people, to help people understand that we have recovered from that recession.
Yes, we have.
Across the country, our equity rates are right around the where they were pre-recession, but we still have fairly low interest rates. And, of course, to me, that's anything under 20%. So somebody bought a house that was a 3-bedroom, 1.5, 2.5-bath house, and now their life has changed, which is what happens in real estate. We manage people's lives based on what happens in their family. So maybe grandma's living with them, or mom's moved in, or the kids have moved out, and they're still in that house that isn't really serving them the way they would like to. And now with the interest rates where they are, they can literally trade up and for the same or less money and a bigger house and better equity and all of that, have a bigger, better house and still pay the same money. But they don't know that until they get help from a realtor who's a trusted resource who lays out that new value of that property, because they are paralyzed thinking, my house is worth half of what it was, and why would I want to move and do all that? Well, while this window is here, and you and I, Cleve, know, having been in the business, that window will not stay forever.
That is true.
You can't have high recovery and low interest rates. So during this window, you encourage people to look at their life and say, look, would you like to move into that forever home now for about the same payment or less you're making now, have the house of your dreams,
for the same money, which is amazing. If you've just joined us, you're listening to the Call Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST. I am joined on the line by Terri Murphy, Miss Energy herself, a top producing agent from the Chicago area for many, many years, and also co-author of a book with Donald Trump. The book is called The Best Real Estate Advice I Ever Received, and I assume you could get that on Amazon. Is that correct, Terri?
Well, actually, you can if you can find them. Yeah, but the Donald writes a book every day, so
you get another from Donald. And we're talking about forever homes. And Terri made an interesting point that a lot of people who are living in a situation, living in a home that they don't consider to be their forever home, this is not where I want to wind up in the end. They sort of feel like they're stuck there because maybe they don't have enough equity to sell it and move to something else, and they have no idea that they can move into the home of their dreams, and because of interest rates today, they could have a payment that is equal to or less than they're paying for something that they don't consider to be their forever home. And that is just an amazing concept, Terri, and I appreciate you bringing that up so much. Do you have anything else you want to talk to about forever homes, or do we want to move on to the next subject?
Well, I think part of what we need to understand before we move on is, do you think home prices and interest rates and mortgages are likely to go up or down in the next few years? And if you can answer that with up, then you need to think about, are you currently living in that forever home? And here's the great transition, Cleve.
Yep.
So if it's not your forever home, it's a little small, we need a first floor master, I'd love to have a den so I can move my office in my home, which is a current trend. Now what happens is you free that home up for inventory for those little millennials that are coming up, okay? And so we've got this new dynamic, and for the first time in our country, we've got more millennials than boomers. I mean, they are now almost 80. They're 87 million.
Wow. And these are people, millennials are people like 18 to 32, 34, is that right?
They're around 35, yeah. And
got
so,
it.
because under that, you've got your centennials or your whatever you want to call the new generation.
Now, Terri, are you just making stuff up now? Centennials?
No. This comes from NAR. This comes from the National Association of Realtors. I work a lot with the Member Information Services.
Yes.
And you can check Forbes or CNN, but really, at this point, the boomers are getting outnumbered.
Yes, they are.
And we have a problem here. The agents, the average age of a middle-aged person in the United States is 37.6.
Wow.
Hello. That means, and the buyer, we're looking at 22-year-olds. There's 50% of our country is 22 years old. So now everybody's like, oh, no, they want to be free. They don't want to be tied down to a home. Well, here's what's happened. When we had that flux of real estate that was upside down, people rented them.
Right.
But now rents are going sky high, right? And the kids are going, well, why do I want to rent for the same money when I could buy? And then I can always lease it because I really don't want to be tied to a house. And I can rent one of the rooms, kind of an Airbnb, right?
Sure.
So those millennials are driving up our real estate. If we can free up some of that inventory from those forever homes, we'll have more inventory for those millennials to buy. An
interesting statistic about the Atlanta market is it costs about 30% more to rent the same house you would purchase for 30% less. So it's much more affordable to purchase a home in Atlanta than it is to rent. It's just fascinating information. Fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. It's interesting to me how the shift has happened. But we have another problem, and the problem is that realtors are pretty much older, and they're not embracing that technology because it's forcing real estate to go from evolutionary to revolutionary. We can't depend on the desktop because more of the apps from smartphones are how those millennials are finding their houses.
Boy, they
so when
sure
you interview a realtor, be sure that they have full web presence for your property to have it available to those people that are looking.
On all the mobile devices, because I was reading something where like 37 or 47% of all searches took place from mobile devices in the first quarter of this year, which is amazing because last year and the year before it was much, much lower than that, much lower.
Well, it was just NAR reported that 50% of home searches were on iPhones, and then 26% of those bought that home they found online. So they're working it without the realtor up front. They will call when they need us. But here's the important thing. It's still great, and it's still preferred for face-to-face because that trusted advisorship, that information that's not on the Internet, the fact that it backs up to a factory or something.
Right.
It's still where the realtor has that experiential capital that they're looking for.
This is called Cleve Atlanta Real Estate Show on Talk Radio 640 WGST.